Hello Kapowians and welcome to Season 3 of Kapow, comics, cartoons and collectibles galore. I'm Sonya.
And I'm Al, and in true Kapowian fashion, for the first episode of the season, we are obviously not at Kings Comics.
No.
We have ventured out into the world once again.
We have found ourselves at the EB Games Expo.
Woo.
Why a gaming expo, you might ask?
I certainly asked.
You did,
Yes.
and I answered. We're going to take a look at some comics that have come from the wonderful world of gaming.
Yes, you did. Now, we are going to be looking at Pearl of Pandaria.
Yes.
We're also going to be looking at Halo, the Fall of Reach Invasion. Ray's going to be along to look at some fantastic gaming collectibles.
Very cool collectibles.
We're going to have an interview with Gunner Wright, who did the voice of Isaac Clarke in the Dead Space series.
Lots of cool stuff happening.
Lots
so
of cool
much
stuff.
cool stuff.
Now, please, can I go and play some games?
No,
Look at the games.
I know, but we need to take a look at Uncharted first.
Okay, let's do that.
Cool.
Now, I have to admit that I've only just recently played the first game in the Uncharted series, Drake's Fortune.
Yes.
But that's only because I only just got a PlayStation.
That's true. I haven't actually played any of them yet. Yet.
Okay, but that does mean that we can come at the graphic novel version of Uncharted from DC Comics with a nice balanced view.
That's right. Now, Uncharted obviously follows the story of Nathan Drake and
Yep.
his partner Sully as they search for the fabled Amber Room, along with Chloe Fraser, who is also a character from the game.
Yeah.
Along the way, they face off against Russian mobsters, hired goons, and monsters from under the ground. So, Al, what did you think of it?
I did not like it, sir.
Neither did I, sir.
So much for a balanced view, I guess.
Oh, I know. Look, I gotta say, I was a little hesitant going into this.
Yeah.
I've seen Joshua Williamson's work before in an issue of Red Hood and the Outlaws,
Yeah.
so I had low expectations, I gotta say.
Well, I didn't know what to expect, but what I got was a veritable truckload of cliches.
I know, just so many all the way through it. It was laughable. But the one device that really annoyed me, that just got repeated over and over and over and over again, was a character would start a sentence in one frame on one page in one particular time and finish it somewhere else on the following page.
Oh, God, he did that right from the beginning, didn't he? You know, why is it I always find myself...
In jams like this. Like, come on now.
Painful.
It was just, at one point, I laughed out loud when a character in the book said something was too cliche. Oh, the irony. I mean, come on. But that was the only laugh I got from this book, I gotta say.
Which is such a shame, because if you play the games, the dialogue is actually very funny.
It's very witty,
It's
very
a really
funny.
well-written game.
Yeah.
Okay, well, look, what did you think of Sergio Sandoval's art in this one?
Okay, there are some really nice panels in here. There's some really nice full page and double page spreads, like with the plane serving as a bridge over a river of lava.
That is pretty cool.
But how can you not make that look cool?
It's true. Yeah.
The problem is it's not consistent. It's not all the way through. There's nothing else in there that makes me go, wow, this is amazing. It's just kind of middle of the road. It's okay.
Yeah, it's sad, but it's true.
It's sad, but it's
yeah,
true,
look,
it is.
As somebody who's played the first game in the series and is desperate to play the other two, this one's going to have to be a berry. I think this is a really beloved franchise. It's a PlayStation exclusive. Its fans are really militant, and I think they're going to be grossly disappointed with this book. Definitely a berry.
Now, from someone who hasn't played the game, I'm just looking at this purely as a graphic novel. It's a berry from me as well.
Double berry.
I know, the dialogue is uninspired and rather dull, and the artwork, just there's nothing in there. Like I said, there's nothing there that made me go, whoa, that is amazing.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Nathan, but you're as buried as an artifact. It's bad.
That's a shame.
Now, Al, come on, EB Expo, gaming, franchises, your favourite, tell us.
Oh, okay. It's got to be GTA. It's got to
GTA?
be Grand Theft Auto.
Nice.
I mean, I played it first when it was the top-down kind
Bird's eye view.
of Garunga bonuses and all. So I loved it then, and I love it now. Right through all the later iterations,
Yep.
I've loved it. So it has to be Grand Theft Auto.
Grand Theft Auto?
Yeah.
Still a Vice City girl, me.
Yeah. Oh, the
I love Vice
soundtrack.
City. Soundtrack's awesome. Cool.
Alright, since now we're at the EB Expo, it's a good opportunity to take a look at some of the gaming figures available. Figures and statues are becoming more and more popular in gaming circles, and what better opportunity than to take a look at these here today.
Absolutely.
We've got big companies coming to play to make these. We've got Diamond Select, you've got NECA, who do some very detailed characters.
And of course, one of the biggest and possibly the most popular.
Probably the most popular, yeah.
Playouts.
Playouts, absolutely. So I had a sample of Halo 4, which was very fun, and so we thought I'd take a look at some of these figures here. What we have is the red, blue, and the exclusive gold, all depicting the Master Chief, sporting the Spartan armor.
Indeed.
They're 9-inch figures. They're actually a little bit taller than their predecessors. That's because they're Playarts Kai. This is an advanced version of the figures. They're meant to be highly detailed, have more articulation, and of course be a little bit taller. They all come in a window style box packaging here, which is very cool, great for display purposes if you didn't want to take them out at all. Plus you can also bookshelf them as well if you want to save some space. They come with a variety of different accessories, switch out hands, detailed weaponry as well. Personally, if you wanted to get something exclusive, go with the gold edition because you get the rocket launcher, which is an exclusive item.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
A rocket launcher.
Yes.
It's very cool. I actually really like these figures. There is a lot of articulation on them.
Absolutely.
Possibly a little too much.
Too
When
much?
I was playing with it, it kind of got a little out of hand and hips were going in weird places. But still, I think the paint job on these are pretty cool as well. They're very shiny. They're very new kind of minted
shiny.
ones.
Yeah.
But I really like them. I think they're very cool as a Halo kind of fan that I am. I kind of like these. I probably would only go with one. I'd probably get, of course, the rocket launcher.
Yeah.
But yeah, they are a buy for me. I think they're pretty awesome.
Okay, well, I really like the detail in them, the Playouts Kai, but I don't know, I'm more inclined to go with the Series 1 or Series 2, have a look at Noble 6, Emil or June. Those characters, to me, just seem a little bit more battle-worn, and I like that aesthetic a little bit more than the shiny sort of armor type. That's just an aesthetic thing for me. You could get a couple.
Different ones.
Different ones, yeah, but it's only going to be a borrow for me. I'm not extremely taken with them.
They're cool.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to a very popular series, the Street Fighter collection. Now, fans have been very impressed with what Playarts Kai have done with these figures. Basically, Street Fighter has been around since the 1980s. It's hugely popular, and these figures are sought after as well. They come in a similar packaging, just like the Halo figures, like all Playarts figures, with switch-out hands, also switch-out heads as well, it's a bit cool. Alternate display.
That's cool.
But unlike the Halo figures, you can see the joints in them a lot easier. Now, generally, as a rule, the joints in the characters can be hidden in mech-like characters a lot easier. Now, personally, that's something that I appreciate, but it's just an aesthetic thing, I guess.
Yeah.
It's a catch-22 though, because at the same time, I want my figures to move easily and be posable, but yet you got this joint
It's
that
an elbow that's a...
elbows and knees, and yeah, it's difficult
weird.
to sort of overcome sometimes.
Yeah.
It's hard to strike a balance. So with some of these characters, like the Cammy in particular, you can see the joints there, joint work there, and I don't know, aesthetically it's not as pleasing. From, the outset, if you have a look at these figures as they're standing there, I don't really like them very much. Even when they're standing kind of static in a neutral position, they don't really do much for me. But if you start to move them and put them in a particular position and start to get them into their fighting poses and stuff like that, the design elements start to, come to life a lot more, and you can see a lot more as to why fans are, being taken by these items. Yeah.
What are you going to give them?
I'm gonna give them a borrow though.
A borrow though?
Yeah. Moving them, they don't move as fluidly as I would have liked.
Yeah.
And some of the parts can be a little flimsy. But as soon as you put them into that iconic pose, like Ryu's Hadouken, it starts to really come to life. Those iconic positions with those iconic characters, it really brings it to life. And I can see why fans are flocking to get these on their shelves.
They are a borrow from me as well, I gotta say. The paintwork on these, it's good, but there's nothing terribly exciting about them.
Yep.
And I don't know, maybe it's because Street Fighter kind of bypassed me as a child. I never really got into it, so I'm not that attached to these characters. I don't like how some of the characters look. I know that if you can put them in their things, it'll make it a little bit more interesting for you, but for me, it's a borrow. They're not set my world on fire.
No?
No.
Fair enough. Well, that's the Street Fighter figures.
Yep.
So look, PlayArts do a whole range of characters and figures. They are expanding their range all the time. You can get Batman, Joker, we've got Metal Gear Solid here, we've got Uncharted as well. They also do Mass Effect. They're also rumoured to be doing the Man of Steel figure, which is very cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, so there's something for everyone with PlayArts. Yeah, they're expanding all the time. And they're also refining their characters also. So yeah.
They also do a fantastic Bayonetta. One of my favourites.
Bayonetta, exactly.
So cool.
Everyone should have guns on their shoes.
Yes.
And of course, we had to show you something very special, which we have right here in front of us. This depicts the classic Ezio from Assassin's Creed leaping over the broken pillar to assassinate someone.
Amazing.
It is made from cold cast porcelain, stands just under 15 inches tall. It's by a company called Psycho, that's spelled S-Y-C-O. Of course, this is actually under the license of Ubisoft, but Psycho actually make a variety of gaming statues. They're very, very good. They do Mortal Kombat. They also do some Marvel statues as well. A Nick Fury and a Rogue they have under their belt. A very reputable company.
That's cool. This Ezio, I've got to say, is incredible.
It is incredible.
I think it's absolutely amazing. The movement on this statue is phenomenal with the cape and the back of his jacket.
Yeah.
And the thing that I love the most is when you kind of look at his face, you can see that he's focused on something. There is a great movement to the character.
Yeah.
And the paintwork on this, I mean, it's phenomenal. It's so beautifully detailed.
That's right.
Now, there was only 2,000 of these
2,000?
created.
Yep, that's right.
So if you are an Assassin's Creed, save your pennies, because this is an absolute beautiful addition to the collection, I think. It's most definitely a buy from me. I love this.
Yeah, absolutely. You see more exclusive editions coming out these days with figures and statues. You've got DC Warner with their release of Injustice. They've got a couple of pretty nice statues coming out, one in particular. And you also got AC3. They're releasing some smaller figures. I think this is a wise move because something this great, although it's wonderful, it's not in everyone's price range. But the new character of Connor, of the protagonist in the new series, AC3, there's a couple of different statues you can get of him. They're a little bit smaller, but they're just as finely detailed. Look, as for Ezio here, it's got to be one big fat buy from me. It is
amazing.
Beautiful. Yeah, absolutely.
Now, Ray, we have been talking to everybody about your favourite gaming franchise, so I'm going to put you on the spot now. What would
really
be
have.
I really am.
This is
What's
easy.
going to be yours?
Gaming franchise?
Gaming franchise, come on.
Dead Space.
We knew this
And I
already. We knew this.
have an Isaac statue, a premium format Isaac statue arriving within a week, and I am very,
Amazing.
very
Very
excited. Yeah,
That's right.
thank you.
Invasion is the third and final trade of Brian Reed's adaptation of the novel Halo: Fall of Reach.
Yeah, now the first two trades, you've got Boot Camp and Covenant, and they follow the childhood and early career of the Master Chief.
They do.
With Invasion, creating a link between the invasion of the planet Reach with the beginning of the first Halo game, Combat Evolved.
Now, Halo is obviously a really well-known and really well-loved franchise.
Of course.
So do you think it's a prerequisite to have played the games or read the novel before reading this book?
This book? Yes, yeah, I do, but that's mostly because this is the third part of a series.
Yeah, very true. You're probably better off reading the first two trades before reading this one.
I think.
Having said that, though, in the third book there is a self-contained little story in there as well.
Yeah, but for the uninitiated, people who don't know the Halo universe, Halo revolves around a conflict between humanity and an alien force known as the Covenant, which is a group of different alien races that all fall under one rule. Humanity's ultimate weapon is a group of augmented, hardcore super soldiers known as the Spartans.
And the hardcorest of them all. Hardcorest, I'm creating new words.
Nice.
The Master Chief.
Master Chief.
Yes. Now, he's almost become this iconic, like almost mythical creature in the Halo universe.
He has.
And I do think that the graphic novel does him justice.
Yeah,
I think it's really good. I don't know how much dialogue's been lifted from the novel and put in this, but it's really well done.
Yeah, no, especially the banter between Master Chief and Cortana, who's his
awesome.
AI companion.
Yep.
That's really witty and engaging,
It is.
so I thought that really worked. And aside from that, the pace really kicked along as well. There's not a dull moment in this one.
There's not, but I almost felt like I was really rushed through the later half of this book. I mean, all of a sudden it's like, boom, here's your new armor. Boom, there's a plane shooting at you. Boom, there's the Covenant. Shoot at them and then get the hell out.
Yeah, okay, but it is an invasion. What, did you want them to take time to brush their teeth? It's hard to do in a helmet, you know?
You can't do it. See, you just spit in the helmet.
Yeah, I kind of did.
Not good. I think this is maybe another case of it would have been better to read the previous two trades because I know Master Chief and I love Master Chief, but I didn't have any emotional connection to the rest of his team. They were just kind of thrown in there. So when they splintered off and did their own thing, I found it got a little chaotic and I didn't quite get what was going on.
Okay, well, I think the chaos is well presented, though. I mean, I really liked Felix Ruiz's artwork in this. I mean, he has this sort of scrappy style to the pencils that I think worked really well, especially in... it was obviously a stylistic choice, and it worked really well in terms of the combat scenes.
No, it did. The combat and the armour, the kind of battle weariness of them, I think it looked really well. There were quite a few blank backgrounds, which is a little niggle of, I think, both of theirs
it can
now.
be,
But having said that, it wasn't a huge deal. I would have liked a little bit more sleekness to the vehicles and the spaceships and stuff, just to kind of give a nice contrast to the rough and readiness of the Spartans. I think that would have been a better effect.
Yeah, no, look, I can see your point there.
Yeah.
What are you going to give this one overall?
I think, for me, this one is a borrow. I mean, I love Master Chief, I love the Halo franchise, but I just feel like there was a few pacing issues, it was a little bit rushed, and the art, although pretty cool, wasn't quite what I wanted it to be.
Okay. Well, look, I think for me, this one, first of all, it made me want to read the other trades.
It did make me want to play Halo again.
There you go. And it also made me want to hunt the novel down as well.
Yeah.
So, plus, added to which, I really did enjoy reading this, which is a yardstick I want to hold to pretty much everything I read. And I think that's important to look at.
Absolutely.
I will admit there were some pacing issues, especially in the second half. Once the invasion starts,
it all happening,
it kind of a little bit. I probably would have given this one a borrow, but I got to be honest, my love for Master Chief really it pushed it over the line into being a buy. So this one's going to be a buy for me.
Yeah, fair call.
It's
fair
a buy.
Enough. Cool.
Now we're doing this with everyone.
Yeah.
So your favourite gaming franchise, what is it going to be?
I think for me it has to be God of War.
Nice.
I love God of War.
Bit of Kratos.
It's so much fun. He's so angry. It's so brilliant. But I gotta say, my ultimate favourite though is Bayonetta, and that's not a franchise yet.
Yeah, they've announced a sequel.
They have,
Okay.
So I can't wait for that. But that's me.
Cool. Now, Ray mentioned earlier on that one of his favourite gaming franchises, if not his all-time favourite, is Dead Space. Now, coincidentally enough, I had the good fortune to have a chat with Gunner Wright recently, who does the voice of Isaac Clarke in that franchise. That was at the Heroes and Villains Expo.
And how did Ray take that news?
Not well.
No.
There was some adult content, there was some frequent coarse language, and now he's not talking to me.
To you at all,
no,
is he?
he's not. He's avoiding me. But let's have a look at the interview and check out why.
Awesome.
Now, I wanted to start off with, obviously you've had kind of an interesting journey into doing voiceovers and acting. Could you tell us a little bit about how you got started, what your journey was into that?
Yeah, I started off racing motorcycles, and my dad's in the motorcycle business and moved the family to Los Angeles. And through the motorcycle world, I had some friends that their families were into stunts, and it's a natural progression, motorcycle stunts, and that's how I got on a set, and I never looked back.
Yeah, excellent.
Best job in the world.
Yeah, so it's obviously something you've enjoyed a great deal once you've gotten into it then.
Oh, it's the best. You know, when I was a kid, it's funny because, you know, seeing all these little kids running around, that just took me back to being a little boy and Buck Rogers and Star Wars and all the things that I used to watch to escape. It's now I just get paid for it.
Yeah, which is nice. Yeah. So you became the voice of Isaac Clarke in Dead Space too. How is that sort of moving into something that a character that's previously been voiceless, you then have to create something that's going to fit that character that people have got in their minds?
Yeah, this was my first real chance of trying to do something that had a built-in fan audience, and really being nervous about that. Are they gonna? Is the Dead Space fan base going to accept me and what I do with the character. So I put a lot of pressure on myself.
Sure.
But at the same time, I mean, you know, they were smart. They knew what they wanted. They wanted a guy just to be a normal person.
Sure.
He's thrusted into some extreme circumstances, and so I just, in some ways, just played myself.
Well, he's very much an everyman character, isn't he? Really? Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, and I love those characters. Those are so rich to me to play.
Yeah, they're believable in a way. You can empathise.
Sure.
Yeah. Now, you're in Australia at the moment. You're promoting Love, which is a film that you're doing. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I play Captain Lee Miller, who's an astronaut left up on ISS space station. You don't really know why, especially at the top of the film. But same kind of thing, which was so cool. It's like, even though he's an astronaut, he's a normal guy, thrusted into an extreme circumstance. And it's just a really beautiful film. Will Eubank, the director, did a phenomenal job. It's just a really poetic film in a lot of ways. And with Tom DeLonge from Blink-182, Angels and Airwaves, his band scoring the picture.
Fantastic.
It's just a really special project. So, and we're in Australia.
Yeah.
And the fans are really excited about the film. So it's good to see that. You feel the buzz.
Yeah, you're having a good time in Australia so far?
Having a ball. Having a ball.
Fantastic. So you got the film going. Are you going to be looking to do more voice work for games in the future, for other things?
That's a good question. You know, I love playing Isaac Clarke. I actually hope it's the opposite. I hope to play Isaac in a film.
That would be cool.
That would be
very
cool.
cool. People would love to see that.
But it's great work. Motion capture, voiceover. I love the work. It's in some ways it's challenging in its own right, but come on, man, I'm living the dream.
Yeah,
I got the best gig in the world. Don't tell anybody.
Everyone will want to do it.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, well, look, thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate you being here.
I appreciate you guys, and it's great to be in Australia.
Thank you.
Pearl of Pandaria is a new graphic novel from DC Comics based in the worldwide sensation that is World of Warcraft.
Yes, now, as you can probably guess from the title, Pearl of Pandaria follows the adventures of a young Pandaren.
Who are essentially panda people, and that's amazing. That is awesome.
It is pretty cool. Now,
It is.
this Pandaren is called Lily, and she's off on an adventure to find her uncle Chen, along with her bodyguard, Bo, who's
very hardcore.
so hardcore.
So cool.
Yeah.
On the way, she encounters goblins, orcs, crazy nature spirits, mad sea witches, and more danger than you can click a mouse at.
Yeah, and there's also a lot about beer in this as well.
Yeah, search for the ultimate brew, and which is weird because Lily is a kid, but I guess she's a panda. Maybe pandas drink beer.
I don't know. Look,
I don't know.
We should point out at this point that neither Sonya nor I are actually WoW players. No. I tried it once, didn't really get into it. I mean, I'm not a big MMO guy, largely because I'm basically antisocial.
He is, and I don't have a good enough PC, nor do I really have the time to dedicate to it.
Yeah, okay. So, we can really only come at it as a standard graphic, without much knowledge of the background of the world it's in, but even with that, I thought it was pretty cool.
Me too. I mean, to begin with, the art style on this is amazing. It's so beautifully coloured and rich, and it's a real cartoony kind of style, which works equally well for the massive sweeping establishment shots, as well as the individual kind of action sequences and the hero kind of bits. I mean, at one point, a panda jumps off a rocket, lands on the ground, ready to do some kung fu awesomeness, and it's amazing.
And you want to see that.
You do want to see it.
That. Yeah, look, Sean Galloway has created some fantastic images here in a really nice visual style as well. But even aside from those action set pieces and the images, which I will admit are very cool.
So cool.
I think the story moves along really well as well, and it's really tightly paced as well. I really enjoyed that. I mean, it did get a little bit wordy in some parts,
bits.
But on the other hand, you could sometimes go 3-4 pages without any words being said, just martial arts noises,
kung fu noises,
which is always great.
Yeah. I do think Mickey Nielsen did a really good job of writing this, but it must also be said that he writes for World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
Like, he understands this world, and he obviously really loves it. And I think it's really shown in this book. It's witty and it's funny, it's well written. And I did actually find myself getting quite emotionally connected to these characters. I mean, at some point, I just kind of wiped away a little tear.
Oh, just a little tear?
I was on a bus. I didn't want to create a scene.
It's always on a bus with you.
I read on public transport.
Yeah, bad
a
timing.
lot.
Yeah.
I know.
It's fair enough. Look, I'm going to come right out and say it. This one's definitely a buy
Yeah.
for me. I thought it was a tightly constructed, great visual style. Very little to say negative about this. Definitely a buy.
But yeah, it's a buy from me as well. Once again, we have found an amazingly written, well-created, all-ages comic, which
Yeah,
I think
which
is
is
really
great.
important
Yeah.
because World of Warcraft is such a huge thing.
Yeah.
It's nice to get everyone involved in something like that.
Absolutely.
So Pearl of Pandaria is definitely a buy from me.
Bye.
Now, we have been talking about franchises, and there
have.
is another person we need to ask, which is our
Ah,
fabulous
yes.
director, Ben.
Mr. Ben.
What is your favourite franchise? Tell
Yes,
us.
Let's go.
I'd have to go with Uncharted.
Uncharted,
Uncharted.
of course.
Somehow I knew.
Yeah.
Big Nathan Drake fan. Our review of Uncharted graphic novel must have hurt you a little bit.
I'm sorry.
He wiped away a little tear as well.
He wiped away a little tear, he did.
Never mind. You can always go back and play the games.
Play the
over.
games.
All right, cool. Well, thanks for that, Ben. And
We're good.
Panda people.
And to people. Alright guys, we've been here at EB Expo all day, which has been much fun. So what do you reckon now? Do you think comic books that come from games work?
I think they can do.
Yeah?
We've seen that they can do, but I think that the major fact of it is they need to have a real love and appreciation for the source material.
Absolutely.
I mean, people are so just militant about their games.
Yeah.
People love their games,
Yeah.
and if you're going to adapt it, you better do a good job.
Absolutely, and I mean, it's true with any graphic novel or comic. You get a good writer and a good artist together, you're going to get a good product.
Yeah.
But add to that love of the game
Yeah.
or of that world, and it makes something really beautiful. Like
Yeah.
we saw in Pearl and Pandaria. It's so
Exactly.
cool.
Yeah, so that worked really well.
Yeah.
But look, guys, I'm sorry to say that's all we actually have time for this
It is.
week. But we will be back next week with a look at what the big two have been up to during our absence, which is going to be... How long have you had that?
What?
All day. I mean, can I play some games? You're like, no, we can't play games. Between every take. Ah!